All right. Are we live? We're
Yep,
live.
we're live.
All right. Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to MEIC Red Devils NCR. This is your host, Delvin, and it's good to see you all after long. Alongside me, I have a couple of esteemed gentlemen with me. I have Saksham, I have Avijit Bhai, and I have Mojo sir with me. A very good evening to all of you, gents, and
Hi guys.
I hope you're doing well. So we are at this point where we are just a couple of games away from the World Cup break, and we've hit a small road. We've hit a small roadblock along the way in our last Premier League game against Aston Villa, where our performance on a whole left a lot to be desired, and we rightfully ended up losing that game 3-1. On hindsight, it could have been more, but I think 3-1 is an apt result considering the fact that we were inept for a large majority of that game. But the games will still continue, and we do battle with Aston Villa once again, albeit in another competition. That is the Carabao Cup, which has begun in right earnest. The third round has begun, and we are playing Aston Villa this time at Old Trafford, and a lot to play for. Carabao Cup is one of the trophies which we are hoping to win come the end of the season, and I think Ten Hag will be wise to make sure that he fields a side that is strong enough to make sure that he goes and makes a deep run in his debut in this competition. So Mojo sir, I start with you. You must have seen the game. You must have seen the Premier League fixture against Aston Villa, and keeping in mind that Eric Ten Hag will field almost a similar team without a lot of changes. Let's put that into perspective. What do you think would be the difference in approaching this game and the way we approached the previous game in terms of performance?
Uh, See, Dylan, I have a very different take on this. Um, and it all starts from where we are in terms of um, the team, in terms of injuries, in terms of how the fixtures have piled up just before the World Cup, in terms of how circumspect a lot of players would be, especially those going to the World Cup, in wanting to play a cup tie, wherein a cup tie, let's be honest, is a battleground. The way it is. So, um, if Eric Ten Hag picks the same team that played at Villa Park, I think that'll be stupidity of the highest order. For a simple reason that the best 11 or the best 14 that we have are exhausted. Right? Let's not mince any words here. They are completely knackered. So if you're trying to get them to play another game within 5 days and then another game versus Fulham in 4 days, then that's stupidity of the highest order. I would say uh, Eric Ten Hag needs to be smart here, like the way he was once we lost to Brentford. He didn't go with his typical 69% possession and that kind of a gameplay strategy. He changed it given the sort of players he realized he has. So he needs to be smart enough on this in a similar stretch of the imagination, in the sense that you got to prioritize whether you seriously want to play the Carabao Cup to win it, or do you just want to just brush it aside so that the fixture congestion post the World Cup eases a bit. Now, the reason why I say that is, if you recall, Tottenham last year walked out of the Europa Conference. They chose to abandon their game and give a bye to whoever they were playing, and then concentrated on the league to try and get to top four. So we need to be smart enough in figuring it out. Do we as fans? Let's be honest. Do we seriously need a Carabao Cup? I mean, you could say that a trophy is a trophy, but then Carabao Cup is not going to help our players. I mean, most of them are going to chicken out in all these second balls and all the second tackles because they want to get to the World Cup. So, and let's be honest, what are the teams still there in the Carabao Cup? You still have the Newcastles, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea's of this world who are competing for that trophy. So my suggestion is, whatever Eric Ten Hag does, I as a fan and a layman who understands football the way I do, old school, whatever you want to call it, I wouldn't prioritize Carabao at all. I would just let the fixture go by. If we win, good enough. If we don't win, no hard feelings. We need a fresher squad for the Fulham game where we need the 3 points.
Yeah, this puts a lot of weight on the recent happening that has also happened. I think Bayern played Sadio Mane in a midweek game, I guess, and he ended up getting injured and was off for the last 20 minutes. And then I think now there are reports coming in that Mane is almost certain to miss the World Cup. So yeah, it's pretty obvious at this point that players will definitely go to play safe because they want to go to Qatar. They want to make an impact for their countries in the World Cup, which is just a couple of weeks away. I think less than a couple of weeks away. So yeah, I think that is a fair assumption. Saksham bhai, what do you think? Now, if we are talking about changes, what are the changes you would like to see in the side? I mean, obviously, there would be a particular set of players that you would want to get a run. There are a
Uh,
lot of players who are coming out from Knox. There are a lot of players who haven't played at all, and then there are certain players who are just slowly and steadily just feeling their way into the side. So, who do you think should get those chances? The players who you want to see playing in the Carabao against Aston Villa.
I want a lot of changes from the side from the last team we faced them in the Premier League. I want changes in that, but I don't think that Ten Hag will make those changes. Like he will approach this game with a strong team. I think Ten Hag will consider Carabao and the FA Cup as potential trophies of this, like he is going to win. So I don't think Ten Hag will make changes. But if I was a manager, I will make changes. I will give the chance to our academy players. Like I will surely play Garnacho. I will play Jadon Sancho because I don't think he is going to the World Cup. I'll use these type of players. Imagine like last night, Sadio Mane got an injury and it's all. I don't know if he will make to the World Cup. Imagine if Ten Hag decides to play Ronaldo and he gets injured. So entire like the World Cup mood would be spoiled. So the injuries are a major cause. Plus, as Mojo sir said that I would rather play a strong team against Fulham in the Premier League to get those points. But at the same time, that Carabao is also there. So yeah, it doesn't matter. But for Ten Hag, I think it does. He wants to make a impact. Like yeah, I'm here and. For the FA Cup and the Carabao, if he wins any trophy in his first season with United after a 5-year drought, so that would be a big thing for United and a big thing for Ten Hag too. So if personally I would make some changes, I will play players like Fred and McTominay's of this world. I won't risk Casemiro. I will surely go with Garnacho. I will try going with Malacia. So these type of players I would play, and I hope we defeat Aston Villa. If I talk about Unai Emery and Aston Villa, I think that Unai Emery will put out a strong team for Aston Villa. He is just in the honeymoon period with Aston Villa, and he will try to like defeat us again. But at the same point, I also want that it's our last game at Old Trafford before the World Cup. So we should like go on a break with an impact that we won at the game at our home. So I want that, but I think that even if he plays his strong team, like Rashford plays, Ronaldo plays, they won't risk those type of tackles. Like Lisandro won't risk that a very good tackle to like get injured because of a Carabao Cup. So it's better to play our B team and our academy grads like Garnacho and them, so they can put their heart outs in the field and get us a result rather than not like be cautious and scared of getting injured or not brave enough to put a tackle in. So personally, I would go with changes, but I don't see Ten Hag going for it. Plus, I would really. I think that Dubravka, we would say see his first game in a United shirt. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
All right. So, like you said that Ten Hag would look at this as a potential trophy, but Vishal says that if we are serious about doing good in the Europa and the league, then Carabao doesn't really matter. So that's a rather a different viewpoint from what Saksham believes that Carabao should be treated as a trophy, and for that reason, I think it's a little bit of a slippery slope in this matter. Abhijit bhai, I wanted to ask you now, continuing with the players who should get chances. Saksham said that Dubravka should be one who should get a start chance. Do you think that Aaron Wan-Bissaka should be given a chance to start tomorrow? or whenever the game is. Do you believe that he has done enough to force his way into Ten Hag's rotation, or do you think that his time with the club is done for?
I think we can give chance to Aaron Van Bissaka. If you see the last tactics in the games, they totally outplayed Dalot. Whenever he came back in the offensive position, you know Bivanda used to give used to stretch Dalot, and he Lucas Digna would has to overplay him, and he used to go front. So in uh, in the last game we were little shaky, बहुत बहुत मतलब shaky थे हम. और मतलब वो हमारे विंग्स बैक्स को मतलब इन्वर्टेड विंग बैक को मतलब पूरे कम गेम खत्म कर रहे थे टोटली. सो यू नो वी वी कैन प्ले एरन विन बिसाका. इट्स अ गुड आइडिया एक्चुअली. और एक छोटा गेम एक मिल जाएगा उसको, थोड़ा सा मतलब थोड़ा मतलब दिसंबर में भी वो खेल सकता है, तो एक छोटा सा मतलब एक कैमियो खेल सकता है. he can come after the substitution, or you can also play him after second half also. तो एक अच्छा आइडिया है कि वैन बिसाका खेले, क्योंकि ही इज अ गुड इन डिफेंसिव वन ऑन वन, अच्छा करता है. तो ही कैन आइसोलेट वॉटकिंस. आई थिंक वॉटकिंस ही खेलता है आई थिंक लेफ्ट विंग में. आई थिंक इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, वॉटकिंस और डिग्ने को मतलब थोड़ा आइसोलेट कर सकता है. ही डू कैन डू डिफेंसिव ड्यूटीज. और अच्छा आइडिया है कि वो इवन फॉर डुबराव का मतलब सक्षम ने जो बोला कि वी कैन प्ले, बिकॉज पिछले गेम मतलब यू नो डीडीजी वाज लिटरली मतलब इतना एरर्स किया है उसने, मतलब ही वाज नॉट कंफर्टेबल वेल इन दैट पोजीशन. तो वी कैन गिव अ चांस टू डुबराव का. मतलब हम इतना सीरियसली भी नहीं ले रहे काराबा कप को. तो वी कैन ट्राई दिस थिंग्स ऑफ सॉर्ट. इवन जिदान इकबाल भी खेल सकता है इन मतलब डबल पिवोट के साथ, स्कॉट मैकटोमिनी के साथ. वो भी एक ट्राई कर सकते हैं. वी हैव couple of players मतलब खेल सकते हैं कि we can try and we can change the tactics, and we can give exposure to the young academies.
Fair enough, fair enough. So Rohit Bhai says that personally, I would want a trophy. Getting an exit from Carabao and then Europa League doesn't guarantee a trophy. Ojas Bhai, what are your thoughts on the Carabao Cup? Now everyone, a lot of them have conflicting opinions about it. Like Mojo sir said that we would want to prioritize other competitions. Now, Rohit Bhai on the comment says that he would like to have it as a trophy. I certainly believe that we should go ahead and put some added significance on the trophy. So, what do you think, Ojas Bhai? Do you believe that we should go full tilt for the Carabao Cup, or maybe think about the future about in terms of fixture congestion, and let this one slip out, let this one go away, go out?
Yeah, if we are serious of getting to the top of this league or anywhere close to the top four, uh, there are certain games that gonna come across a season where we have to safeguard our main players. It is not about choice. Sometimes it's about the only decision that seems viable. I personally believe that these are the last two games before the World Cup, and many players will be cautioning against an injury. But with the professionalism that these players have, I don't think they will mind putting the badge of the club to its highest place. Injuries are a concern for many players. I get that, but I don't believe that it would be on the mind of such professional players until and unless there is already a back. See, there are two types of injuries. You are having an injury, you play a game, you worsen it, and then you get a knock in the game. See, you have to take caution for an injury that you already have. Okay, you are having a hamstring, stress on the hamstring. You go on the run in the wing, and you get more injured. That is on you. You are playing for a for the team, for a club that is paying you, that is paying your wages. You have to play whether there is a risk or not, because if this type of attitude persists, then it will set an example for the future generation of players also. And we have to realize something, that although football World Cup is one of the biggest trophies in the world, I think the biggest trophy in the world, but there is also, um, you know, quite a huge popularity of league games. Also, these leagues are not a joke for anyone. They are taken seriously all around the world, and the professionalism of players will be questioned if they are just, taking precautions against such games. And like I said, that point only, if you are injured, take a rest. If you're not injured, don't worry. These things happen in football. You're playing for your team, you're playing for your badge. If injury happens, just get over with it. Just sleep over it with it, or just be 100% committed to what you're doing in this game.
Very strong points put forward, Ojas, by you, and rightly so. Uh, Vishal Bhai says if we are going deep in these cup competitions, that is Carabao, FA Cup, and Europa, we should not get knocked in the semis, which will also hamper our league position and top four for next season. Uh, I mean, if all these competitions are yet to begin, we have to negotiate a tricky knockout playoff against Barcelona, and surprise, surprise to that. Then the FA Cup draw has not yet come out, and the Carabao starts just now. So we'll have to wait and see how deep we go in each of these competitions, and only then we'll come to know whether will we reach the semi-finals in this or whether we not. We hope we do. We make a deep run in each, but then only time will tell in those situations. Mojo, my question to you would be: uh, in the Premier League fixture, we seen Donny start after God knows how many eons in the Premier League, and it's safe to say that he was virtually invisible in the entire time that he played. I did not exactly see him do what was his role in that side. But do you think he gets another game, sir, or do you think Bruno comes in for the Carabao Cup? What are your observations on Donny based on his performance in the game in the Premier League fixture at Villa Park? And do you think he gets that prolonged run again? Sir, you're mute.
Am I audible now? Sorry about that.
Yeah,
So, given the kind of game it was, yeah, I mean, Donny was not up to the scratch, and we've had all the criticisms flow at him from left, right, and center. So, but then there is another catch to that. That here is a guy who probably hasn't had a game time for a good part of 7 to 8 months, even while he was at Everton. He wasn't getting a regular game time apart from that 1.5 or 2 games where he really excelled at Everton. So he hasn't had much to show for himself at United. Um, but I will again come back to that same point that I made earlier, that if the Carabao Cup is important, uh, then yes, Donny shouldn't be playing this game at least. But then I would also go on to say that, the point that Rohit Bhai made, that personally a trophy is always nice to win. Yes, it is. But then you got to consider that the teams who are going to be available in the next round are the top 7 or 8 hitters in the Premier League, in the Carabao. So, do you really want to be coming into the post World Cup schedule congestion, and be playing amongst those Premier League sides? Because all of them are still in the draw. Tottenham is, City are, Chelsea are, Liverpool are, Newcastle is, West Ham are. So it's not going to be easy. But so, and there was a comment, I just happened to have read it very quickly. I don't know who it was from, that the choice of players who can start. Yes, I mean, McTominay hasn't started for quite a while now. Fred has started a game or two and then come on from the bench. But Van de Beek to Bruno, the specific question you asked me, I genuinely feel Bruno wouldn't want to start. As a person, on his individuality point of view, he wouldn't want to start because he's just 72 hours away post this game to taking a flight for the World Cup. So why would he want to do that? And but if Eric Ten Hag wants him to play, he plays. If you give me a choice based on purely the last game, Van de Beek or Bruno, Bruno. But if you also tell me to plug in the fact that we need as many players on song with the way Ten Hag wants the team to perform, then yeah, another game time for Van de Beek. But then it's a competitive game. Van de Beek can be brought on boil in the two friendlies that we are playing in December, or just before the teams return after the World Cup. So maybe those two games, Van de Beek can be brought in to get his match sharpness. But as of right now, right here, Bruno में selfishness होगी whether he wants to play because the World Cup being around, he doesn't want any injury. But if Eric Ten Hag wants him to play, he plays. Van de Beek game time देना जरूरी है. Whether given his previous performances, he deserves that right now, no. And the sharpness that Van de Beek can plug in can be brought in the two friendlies we play in December.
Also, one point to add, Devin Bhai, that VDB is a plays in a position style based. He's not a playmaker like a Bruno Fernandes. He can carry the ball. He can provide the passes. VDB can't do that. You have to exactly understand what VDB style is. He can capitalize in the मतलब एक पोजीशन बेस्ड फुटबॉल में खेल सकता है वो, लेकिन हम जब खेलते हैं यू कांट प्ले लाइक दैट. जब उस पिछली बार भी उसको गलती क्यों हुई, क्योंकि पीछे जो मतलब उनका जो मतलब सेंट्रल डिफेंडर और टायरॉन मिंग्स और आई थिंक डगलस लुइस, ओनली
Eric
वो
Konza.
हाँ कौन सा, सॉरी, ओके कौन सा, तो दोनों ने रोनाल्डो को और वीडीबी को टोटली आइसोलेट किया. उनको मतलब वो स्पेसिस ही नहीं दे कि आप उसको मतलब कोई क्रिएट करे चांसेस. एंड वीडीबी का एक ट्रेट है कि वो मतलब 1-to-1 करता है, मतलब पास करो, ये मतलब प्ले लिंकअप प्ले करके खेल के लास्ट थर्ड हाफ में खेलता है, मतलब वो पासिस प्रोवाइड करता है. यू कांट मतलब वो ब्रूनो की तरह मतलब एकदम से एकदम स्विच करेगा और बॉल आगे पास कर देगा स्ट्राइकर को या फिर एक विंगर को. ऐसा नहीं खेलेगा वो. आपको वो समझना पड़ेगा कि वीडीबी हैज अ सर्टेन प्ले ऑफ स्टाइल एंड ही कैन प्ले इन दैट ओनली पोजीशन.
डॉनी
हम
ब्रूनो की
expect
तरह सॉरी बट डॉनी ब्रूनो की तरह प्रेस भी नहीं करता. आई वाज लाइक सीइंग इन द प्रीमियर लीग गेम, उसका प्रेसिंग इतना अच्छा नहीं था जितना डॉनी ब्रूनो का होता है,
क्योंकि उसके पास ज्यादा इंटेंसिटी है. ब्रूनो के पास, बीडीबी के पास उतना इंटेंसिटी नहीं है. मतलब अगर ब्रूनो फर्स्ट मिनट से भी इंटेंसिटी से खेलेगा तो 90 मिनट तक भी वो सेम ही इंटेंसिटी से साथ खेलेगा. तो यू कांट एक्सपेक्ट बीडीबी टू हैव दैट इंटेंसिटी. उसके पास वो इंटेंसिटी है ही नहीं. ही इज ओनली फॉर पोजीशन प्ले ओनली. और अभी तक हमने पोजीशन प्ले खेला ही नहीं है. वी आर ओनली प्लेइंग फॉर द काउंटर्स और ये मतलब बॉल स्विचेस कर रहे हैं. सो वीडीबी का मतलब फ्यूचर अभी भी मतलब यू कैन से मतलब एक इफ्स एंड बट्स में है. जब तक एरिक टेन हैग चाहे तभी वो खेलेगा.
rather interesting from you, Abhijit भाई. मतलब बहुत ही insightful and something to think about, considering Donny and his impact to the club as well as his immediate future as well. Because I don't think he will be selected in the Netherlands squad for the World Cup. I don't think he's got enough chances to get into that squad. So that that is another issue. Saksham, coming to Villa, let's talk about Villa now. Do you see them making any changes, or considering the fact that I don't think Villa is going to have a lot of representation in this World Cup, bar a couple of players, I think, would you see Emery tempted to play the same team or a full strength team once again against us?
I think that it's the first days of Unai Emery in Aston Villa. So, and he got to face Manchester United twice. So, I think he would like to beat us twice, and he will play mostly his strongest team because, like, he doesn't know his players as much. Like, he doesn't have many training sessions. He didn't have a preseason. He played some of the players against us, and they performed. So I don't see his like doing 11 changes or even 5-6 changes against in his team because he doesn't know his players completely till now, and he wants to like for Aston Villa, Carabao Cup is a very big thing. They are not like debating like we are in the top four race or we are in in a European competition. Carabao like is something that they can go on to a quarter or a semi-final too. So for them, it's a big deal, and I think Emery doesn't know his players like he can make such rotations. So he will play a strong team. He would like to defeat us again in the Old Trafford, and man, whenever it's against Unai Emery and Manchester United, it's another type of battle. He just gets the final laugh always. So I hope we defeat him, but he will play strongest team. I don't know how he will approach this game and who can he bench, because if he benches, if he tries to rotate, you are done against Manchester United. What if Ten Hag doesn't go with his team B? He goes with his team A, and you play your team B. So that is a risk factor, and I don't think that Unai Emery in his initial days as Aston Villa take that big of a risk to like rotate the squad and give the B team a chance. And I don't just see it. I think he will completely come prepared and completely in mind to like defeat us and get something in this Carabao Cup fixture.
Also, they have Unai Emery has plenty of players on the squad. सभी मतलब players totally fit है. Even Dendoncker and even Ashley Young are fit to play. And even Stuart McGinn है. I think McGinn भी शायद fit हो गया है. So he has plenty of
No,
option to play in the midfield. So
Uh, अभिजीत भाई
uh,
वो जॉन मैकिन है,
हाँ
स्टुअर्ट
sorry,
मैकिन
नहीं sorry, apologies for that.
John McGinn was not. I don't think he was injured. He was just जेरार्ड के जब awful period चल रहा था मैनेजमेंट का, जॉन मैगिन को थोड़ा सा होल्ड मिला हुआ था. आई डोंट थिंक ही वाज इंजर्ड. ही वाज जस्ट
I
एस्टन
read
विला
that's
हैज
why.
Aston Villa has very high potential players. Even if they try to rest some players, they have Bailey, they have Bundia, they have Coutinho. I don't have any updates about Coutinho. Uh, they have Douglas Lewis sitting in the deep. One of, I think, a very good CDM. That is why Arsenal was behind him. Douglas Lewis is a very good CDM, and perfect CB partnerships. Mings doesn't have pace; he has aerial duty. Completely sorted out. Konza has a lot of pace. Matty Cash is a brilliant right back, and Luca Digne, we all know what he can do. They have a very sort, and Martinez, who is on to the flight for the World Cup for Argentina. They've got pretty good players, and to be fair, Aston Villa will have everything in the place to play this fixture because it is not at the home ground, it is at Old Trafford. They will keep their experienced players on the pitch. They want the result. Aston Villa has made significant investments in the summer, and for past 2 years, they're slowly trying to build the team. They want the results, they want a trophy or at least semi-final appearance in some of the trophies. So I am pretty sure Aston Villa is going with a very good team. I really don't want to predict what United is going with, but I really hope that it is a decent team to pull off this result.
All right. So now that we've spoken about the prospective fixture and what exactly, let us talk about predictions, and then we move on to a little bit of World Cup, because I mean the World Cup is upon us. We're just days away from the World Cup, so we'll talk about that. But before that, I would like your predictions. Moses, so what do you think would be your predictions for this game?
Yeah, I'm pretty bad at predictions. So the only thing I would say is let's hope we win this. While I've been championing the fact that we need to prioritize being in Carabao or not for the last 15-20 minutes. But I'm a United fan. I would want us to win. I would want us to progress. But look, I'm not looking at a short-term thing right now. I'm seriously worried about what happens to us post-World Cup if we don't sign players. Uh, so yeah, any United fan would want us to win every game. So that's where I am. Let's hope we win. It is going to be tough. Ten Hag will have to make changes. I think his hand is literally tied at the back, so to speak. His one hand is literally tied at the back. Uh, so I hope we win. That's the only thing I'll say. If you ask me a particular score, I can't put a finger onto it, but I hope we win. That's the only thing I'll go for.
Saksham, what do you think?
Uh, I hope we win. I don't think it would be an easy game. We will concede goals too in this game. I hope we score two. So I think it would be a nail-biting game, and I'm predicting a 3-2 win for us. Because I see us conceding more than one goal, and if I am predicting a win, I surely there are going to be 3 goals. But I do see us conceding, that's for sure. So I hope we win 3-2. But I don't think that we will coming back with a clean sheet or like not a very good game. There would be goals, there would be counter attacks. So I'm all looking forward to it how it goes. And last game on Old Trafford before the World Cup. So before that, why please United win 3-2.
Abhijit, by your predictions. Excuse me.
I agree with Mojo sir. Win मतलब एक win होगा तो it will be a satisfactory for us. I don't expect more anything. You score, you concede. I don't care, but a win is win, and it will be a last love for us.
Vishal says, hope this game doesn't go to penalties. 8 बजे ऑफिस भी जाना है. And rather apt description for us. Ojas bhai, what do you think? What are your predictions for this game?
Yeah, I agree with Section. We will concede a goal, but maybe I think we will win 3-1.
Fair enough. So the reverse result at home.
I mean, it'll be great if it happens. I highly
no
doubt
doubt
it,
about it.
but
Yeah.
it'll be great if it happens because Eric Ten Hag ideally should be ringing changes. And there was a comment here, I think, I'm forgetting who it was by, wherein it said that Aston Villa will be at full strength.
Yeah,
So there you
that's
go, Prakash. Yeah.
Yes. So I think if we score 3 goals, I think this will be the first time we've scored 3 goals since the Arsenal game. Since we beat Arsenal 3-1. I think that is the only game where we've scored more than 2 goals in the
No, we did.
season.
We
No, we
scored.
did.
We scored 3 versus City as well. Nah,
Oh yes.
No, even
We conceded.
painful.
I think.
Yeah, so not a lot of not a goal glut season so far, but hopefully
Yeah,
as the season progresses.
I think we scored 3 against Sheriff as well away.
Was that Sheriff or was that Omonia?
Either of the two.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been goal shy. Hopefully we get goals in the coming 2 fixtures. So my prediction would be a 2-0 win. Hopefully a clean sheet. So let's see. So let's talk about the World Cup. I think in 10 days we have the first game. What are your thoughts on the World Cup, Mojo sir? I mean, a lot has been made about the venue, the allegations surrounding it. We won't go into detail about the allegations because I don't think that's our this to speak upon, because if it would have to be cancelled, it would have been. But it's as things stand, the World Cup will go on for all intents and purposes. What are you expecting from this World Cup, Mojo sir? Because there is a lot of talk going about it for multiple reasons, and as it is in business, no publicity is bad publicity. Which means that people are going to watch it, irrespective of the fact that they will be talking bad about it. So, what are you expecting from this World Cup in terms of performances? Are you expecting something close to what actual football will be played, or are you going to expect something that is very synonymous with our modern game? That is where the game is going soft. There is with the increased instances of moral policing on football, on celebrations, on flair moves. What are you expecting from this World Cup in general?
Okay, so there are 3 or 4 points you have plugged in there. So I'll try and answer them as quickly so that everyone can have their viewpoint. So one, as far as Qatar is concerned, they have the World Cup. They've had it for 4 or 5 years now. So whatever the controversy, whatever the human rights, whatever the labor issues, what they're going to do with the stadiums on the World Cup is done, the wastage of resources, wo sab ab khatam hai wo baat, because the World Cup is on your doorstep. So let's put all that behind us and let the games begin, like they say. Once the game, as far as games are concerned, I think in terms of how the games would be played, it's quite evident in the last 1.5, 2 years It's a point that I made in one of our previous videos as well, wherein FIFA has been, very open to let the game be a lot more physical than it was about 2 or 3 years ago. I would touch you by my fingernail and you would fall, and I'll get a red card or a yellow card. That was what was happening. But we've seen in all competitions lately, may it be Premier League, may it be Champions League or Europa or Nations League, or even the Euros last year, that the games were allowed to flow. Small nudges here or there, or slight tackles here or there, weren't really pulled up for silly free kicks. So I guess from a game point of view, it would be exciting. In terms of the other things that you asked, whether the players would be allowed to celebrate or whether there'll be political bickering here and there, I think the players, the agents, and the so-called the managing entourage of every country will be so strong that players will not be allowed to wander off in those sort of matters. So they'll be pretty well briefed. They'll be pretty well trained in terms of what questions to take, what questions to pass on in press conferences. They will be advised what kind of activities to involve themselves on once they don't have a game, they don't have a match day, so to speak. So this is a professional and the biggest and the sport that the planet plays. So players going there will be well trained, well represented, well guided, that no political nonsense should happen. But look, I'm looking forward to it big time. I mean, not only me, all of us across the globe are looking forward to it big time, because it is going to be the biggest sport event that we're going to have post the entire COVID nonsense. It's going to be a stress reliever for a lot of us. And I just hope it's a great tournament. And I just, as many million times I can wish, pray Messi doesn't win.
And as we're speaking, we've had a host of teams, release their squads. I think Brazil has already released their squad for the World Cup. Croatia released their squad today. I think Mojo, so England will be releasing their squad tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, for the World Cup. Yeah, England will be. Denmark has also announced their squads. So in the midst of all this, a lot of teams have been announcing their squads. Japan has already gone on and announced. The first team to announce their World Cup squad is Japan. Costa Rica as well. So a lot of teams are, getting their squads out for the world to see that who will be the 26 who will be representing the country at the highest stage. Saksham, my question to you is, on a team level, which team are you most eagerly looking forward to? I'm not asking which team are you going to support. From a neutral perspective, I'm asking you, which team are you going to, feel like this team could have a long run against all expectations?
So I think the quality of squad that Brazil have, it would be really exciting to see how far they will go. Everybody, like in the South America, the clubs like the teams like Brazil and Argentina, they will give their most. As Moses sir said, I hope Messi doesn't win. But this Argentina team also looks very, very different. So Argentina and Brazil are those teams. Are those two teams? I think they will go on a long run, and they are the exciting teams too. Their squad quality is good. The players have passion. South American teams, so that is a factor. And the team I am going to be supporting is Portugal, obviously, for Cristiano Ronaldo. I hope he is there with Brazil and Argentina in a longer run. But I think Brazil is very, very interesting. It's interesting to also see that France without Pogba and Kante, if Kamavinga and Chumani gets a chance in that team, and how good they will play in the midfield role. I am looking forward to how the French team would play. So that would be interesting too. Germany would be also an interesting team in the World Cup, because if I'm correct, that Timo Werner isn't playing for Germany this time, and it's Jamal Musiala and Thomas Muller probably in the strike, because they don't have an out and out striker. So I think Timo Werner is injured. So Germany is also a team I think we are not taking seriously. So, like to answer your question in a brief, Argentina and Brazil, I think, would be surely go to the semifinals, and I hope that Portugal wins. But those South American teams, man, come on, you can't just ignore them. They are very, very good.
May I just add one thing here? After a very long time, we are actually facing a situation where Brazil and Argentina seem extremely settled sides, whereas
Yes. Yes.
a lot of countries in Europe are going through the so-called transition. Germany
Yes.
is, England are, Spain is, France. Although they are stable, but they are their own enemies on their day. Um,
Correct.
and who else is playing from Holland? Holland,
Netherlands.
Netherlands are relatively stable, but then most of the kids are new, so to speak. So
And they're also low on star quality as well. Not a lot of
yeah,
star quality in that side.
so Brazil and Argentina look the most stable sides, whereas Europe, a lot of teams are going through transition, and that's probably happened after 3 World Cups. So it'll be interesting to see. And God damn it, please, Messi ko mat jitao yaar.
I I think like Mauricio, you rightly said that the French are their own enemies. I mean, they're one. I think that whole squad is just one hissy fit away from descending into total chaos. I
Yeah,
mean, because there are so many egos in that squad at this point in time that the 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 intelligent and the level-headed individuals are way too less for the sheer egotistic people that are there in that squad, without picking any names. And I think for once Deschamps is going to have his hands full. I mean, in the last World Cup, he had the entire team playing in a proper sync and a proper wavelength. I think he's going to have a much harder time this time around, considering the fact that they are defending champions as well.
and I mean, for the point you make in terms of Deschamps having a tough time, look at how they bottled their Europa quarterfinals. Was it against
The
Switzerland?
Euros, yes, against Switzerland,
Switzerland.
correct.
Switzerland.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean
yes.
they were leading till what, the 74th or the 75th minute, and they just let it slip. You not see a French team do that of the yesteryear when the likes of Zidane were playing. They'll just shut shop or probably go and score another winner.
Correct,
So
correct.
they also don't have Pogba.
Doesn't make a
Thank God they
difference.
don't have
Ah,
Pogba.
why to
No, no,
Exactly.
they will not.
At
They
this
will not have
at,
worse.
at this point, not having Pogba for France is a blessing than a curse for them.
Ah,
To be
Yeah,
really honest, at this
no,
point.
no. Why
he
is
would have
that? I
got the
think
curse.
Pogba
नहीं
in a
भाई
France jersey is a different breed, man. Come on.
In
लेकिन
with the personal baggage that he's going to would have gone
Yeah,
to at this
yeah.
World Cup, I think it would have been a hindrance more than a help, irrespective of
Yeah,
how he performs for France.
yeah.
Ojas, my question to you is: do you think this World Cup will be decided by the quality of the squad or by how well each squad is managed? Because we are pretty sure that this is the first, because as everyone knows, this is the first time that all these teams are going to play in the Middle East. This is the first World Cup that is in the Middle East. Though it is winter, the conditions will be way different from where they are accustomed to playing. No matter whether they are from South America, no matter they are from Europe, or even Africa for that matter. It is going to be different. The conditions will be different. The area will be different. Do you think this World Cup will be decided by how well each squad is managed in terms of injuries, in terms of keeping everyone fresh, more than the quality of the side?
Yeah, I think it is a decent, very decent and very curious question because for since I've seen that Jose Mourinho era of Manchester United, I've been closely noticing that the top clubs of each league, there's always a phase that they go to these countries for summer training or for a training program to get the physical fitness back because it's so cold in Manchester, it's so cold in Germany, it's so cold everywhere. They always have a break where they go to countries like Dubai or something to get their fitness levels. Conditions are different, but players are, I think, not new to these conditions. They they practice. Some top players practice there. Some teams visit also there. And if we are taking into account what is on the line, that is the World Cup, the teams will be ready not on only on the squad how it is managed, but the quality. Why I'm saying quality is important, because squad management is is for, I believe, I personally believe it's for a longer run. It's like how you're managing your squad for past 2 years, bringing into this World Cup. That is squad management, how you manage that. But right now, in this crunch situation with World Cup, we are knocking on the door at the World Cup. The quality of the team will be decided. How well your main players, your leading players, your top players are going to perform will be very important. If Neymar stays fit, I don't think there will be a problem for Brazil. They have Marquinhos. Is Marquinhos going? Yes,
Yes.
Yes,
Marquinhos will be.
Marquinhos is in the side.
So yes, Argentina is a brilliant team. Mojos is although not liking the idea of Messi lifting the World Cup, but first time I'm seeing an Argentina team not dependent totally on Messi, majorly on Messi, but not totally. They are a brilliant set of players, Argentina, and some African teams are also doing so well. I think Senegal faced a problem with Mane injury, if I'm not wrong. I read
Yeah,
it yesterday.
yeah,
They
yeah.
have a injury issue with Mane. Very sad for Mane, I believe. And again, coming to European teams, although Italy is not making, Italy would have made this World Cup very interesting, but Italy is not there. They have not qualified due to their own performances. But these European countries are no less. Netherlands is a transition phase, you said. But you also mentioned they don't have star players, but they have players like De Jong, Depay, De Vrij, I think Timber,
Gapco.
Gakpo, some brilliant quality that Netherlands have. But that this is the quality they had in 2014 World Cup when Robin and Van Persie were at their peak, and I think they were knocked out in semi-finals.
They
Uh,
came third in that World Cup. Yes, they
they
came
came
third.
they came in the. I don't know what is the issue with Netherlands is, but European teams, everyone has a great quality squad.
So, Abhijit bhai, and then afterwards, this question will go to everyone. I mean, obviously, there are certain teams that have a lot of participation from United side. I mean, there are a lot of United players who will be going through this World Cup, and there are some United players who won't be making the cut, unfortunately. So, speaking about United, uh, Ajit bhai, which player are you eagerly looking forward in this World Cup? Which United player in this World Cup are you eagerly looking forward to watch?
I think सभी players को मैं we are looking for as a
इन
prospect.
इफ अगर आपको उनमें से कोई एक ऐसे मतलब जो यूनाइटेड के लिए खेल रहे हैं अभी जो वर्ल्ड कप के लिए जाएंगे उनमें से किसका परफॉर्मेंस आप ईगरली एक्साइटेड हो देखने के लिए ऑन एन इंटरनेशनल स्टेज.
I think Dalot or Martinez, I would say, because they are, Martinez तो undoubtedly एक अच्छा player है. We all know that he has settled in our defense. Dalot क्योंकि वो मतलब totally different player बन गया है. He can operate in one to ones and he can contribute in offensively also. So मुझे लगता है कि ये एक मतलब complete player है, package है पोर्चुगल के लिए, and they have now option as a Dalot, and he has perfectly in the form, and वो काफ़ी कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकता है. इवन इन द नेशंस लीग आपने देखा हो तो ही वाज अप टू द मार्क. और ही कैन कंट्रीब्यूट. जब
And
हम यूनाइटेड के प्लेयर्स की बात करते हैं, जब भी हम वर्ल्ड कप के लिए, तो यू हैव टू एक मतलब ऐसा आइडिया भी रहता है कि जो प्लेयर फॉर्म में नहीं है अभी, आफ्टर द वर्ल्ड कप ही कैन कम इनटू द फॉर्म. मेंटालिटी चेंजेस व्हेन यू आर इन अ कंफर्ट जोन. यू आर प्लेइंग विद द योर मेट्स फ्रॉम योर कंट्री वेयर यू कैन नो, मतलब उनका माइंडसेट चेंज हो जाता है. ये मतलब सपोर्ट करना इन द क्लब, इट इज ऑलवेज अ कॉम्पिटिटिव लेवल. लेकिन जब वर्ल्ड कप खेलते हो तो यू हैव अ डिफरेंट माइंडसेट, एंड यू हैव सपोर्ट टू सपोर्ट फॉर योरसेल्फ. तो जब भी आपने देखा हो तो मतलब जब भी रोनाल्डो ने जब 2016 में यूरो जीता था, तो ही वाज इन अ डिफरेंट फॉर्म. इन मतलब डिफरेंटली चेंज हो गया था. इवन एम्बापे देखो आप, एम्बापे वाज इन अ डिफरेंट डिफरेंट माइंडसेट नाउ. तो इट रियली चेंजेस द मेंटालिटी. जब ऐसे प्लेयर जो फॉर्म में नहीं है, जैसे कि मगवायर है, रोनाल्डो है, ऐसे प्लेयर्स अगर फॉर्म में आ जाए, तो इट विल बी बेनिफिशियल फॉर यूनाइटेड पर्सपेक्टिव. तो हम ऐसे भी सोच सकते हैं कि समटाइम्स इट कैन बी अ नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट, जैसे मैग्वायर यूरो तक अच्छा खेला, उसके बाद ही वाज इन अ वेरी बैड फेज। इवन शॉ भी एक लास्ट सीजन पूरा मतलब ब्लैंक गया। इट कैन चेंज योर मेंटालिटी एंड अप्रोच टू द गेम। So you you have to also see positive, also some negatives from the impact of the World Cup, and हम पॉजिटिव ही सोचे, क्योंकि जो जो हमारे टीम सिलेक्ट हुए दे आर ऑल इन अ स्ट्रांग पोजीशन। आप डेनमार्क को देखो, इवन इन ब्राजील, इन पोर्चुगल, दे आर ऑल इन अ सेटल सम सेटल टीम। तो डेफिनेटली हम एक ऐसा पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट एक्सपेक्ट करेंगे कि ये प्रोग्रेस करे, एंड it also impacts on the club level also. Devin bhai.
Apparently, Wales is going to announce its team in 30 minutes from now for the World Cup.
I mean,
Gareth
Gareth Bale.
Bale.
Yeah.
Gareth Bale is only the 30th man. वो फॉर्म में भी है अभी मोजो सर, and he
And
can
he's
do
he's
changes.
he's coming off a high, having helped LAFC win a title or something like that, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah. So it will be interesting, and it's England versus Wales. I'm eagerly looking forward to that game as an England fan. So I hope we beat them like we did in the 16 Euros, which was our only high point in that tournament. Unfortunately, hope it's not the case this time around.
Wales,
Yeah.
Golf Madrid in that order. Yeah, Vishal.
Exactly. Wales Golf. Ojas bhai, what do you think? Which player are you looking forward to watching? Which United player are you eagerly looking forward to watching in this World Cup?
See,
Lisandro Martin. So
sorry.
Yeah.
Go on, Ojas, go on.
yes. For me, it's Lisandro Martinez only. Saksham will also say the same answer, I know, because there is this is going to be a very important World Cup for Argentina. It's like a swan song for Messi also, and everyone is so passionate. I was witnessing a game where they were all fighting for Messi. I don't know what is happening there in Argentina, but Lisandro Martinez will be a beast in this World Cup. I predict that. I pray to God he doesn't pick up an injury because he's so consistent with his performance. Except against Villa, which I thought it was poor, but that happens in a season. This will happen in a season, but Lisandro Martinez is a player that I will look forward in this World Cup.
So, in a shocking, in a shocking report coming out, apparently, Kamavinga is excluded from the French national squad for the World Cup. This is a very shocking
Very poor
report.
decision. Very poor
If
decision.
true, if true, this is
Who?
very. If true, this is just a
I,
shocking call for me.
I don't think it should even have been built up to a rumor. This is not even a rumor. It shouldn't be even in doubt. Like you already have Pogba it. I Kamavinga is young, I believe, but surely deserves a call up in the World Cup. Really don't know what's happening.
He was
And
also the second I think player of the Europe I think in the
the young
after
player.
yes, young player. I think
And Mojo
Kamavinga.
sir, in news which will come as no shock and surprise to both of us, Southgate has dropped Madison. I think at this point we both knew that he wasn't going to make the plane anyways.
Yeah, Madison was always doubtful. He was
Yeah.
always doubtful.
But it's pretty surprising to see a player who's been consistently performing for years at the Premier League not able to get a chance to play for the national side. I mean, at this point, he's surely better than Mason Mount. If we have to call a spade, I think at this point he surely warranted a spot to the plane to Qatar, especially above Mason Mount.
I mean, yeah. How many players can a team carry?
26,
24?
26 this year. 26.
So yeah, in 26 players, yes, Madison could have been taken, but then I guess it's more of a thing of how he's been playing. I think the impression that's worked on Southgate is where Leicester are with him being in the team, and if you are looking for a playmaker, and which Madison ideally is for Leicester, it's not been that effective for Leicester. So maybe that's the reason why it's contributed to him not being there.
But then there are players like Grealish who's barely done anything this season. There's Mount who's flattered to deceive in some matches, and then there is Raheem Sterling who cannot, who's still not able to find his footing in Chelsea as he expected to. Surely
So
Madison would have had a better shout getting
I,
it.
I totally agree. But then you also got to understand Southgate is one of those managers who actually has, for the last good part of 4 to 5 years, worked on a lot of favoritism as well. Players he likes, players who he believes, can contribute to his style of football or believe in his certain set of values. Uh, I mean, he picks them blindly. So but maybe that's the reason why the likes of Grealish are there, because Grealish has done nothing for Man City the whole season,
Absolutely nothing.
Well,
Absolutely
and
nothing.
neither has Sterling.
Mojo sir, do you think that Gareth Southgate has inherited a very good English squad that has a quality depth? Because it is like they have so many options for
Absolutely.
I don't I think the defense is a bit short, but with Tomori coming into the scene, even defense looks pretty all right. But
See,
I believe that he has inherited a
so
very good squad. I would like
Just,
your opinion.
just,
England
just.
England has a very good squad. Uh, I would go on to say that the so-called golden generation of England football, which everybody used to tout on about, when the likes of Beckham, Scholes, Michael Owen, Rio Ferdinand, and the Nevilles used to play there. That squad was very good as well. The only problem is England had shoddy managers back then. England has a shoddy manager right now. And if you had a manager like, for example, Mancini, crap, मैं उसका नाम क्यों ले रहा हूँ यार? वो मैन सिटी का मैनेजर रह चुका है वो. But if you had a manager like Mancini managing this England current setup, I can assure you they'll be a far better team than they are. If you had a manager like Zidane, for example, waiting in the wings post the World Cup to take over the French national team, handling the so-called the golden generation of England previously, that team would have won something or the other, which they didn't. So England has always had a good team ever since the Premier League came into being, since the mid 1990s, because 1996 they hosted the Euros in England,
And they made
and
the semis in
and
that. They made the semis
yeah,
in that.
and that's when the likes of Alan Shearer and Andy Cole and Gascoigne were in their prime, so to speak. That team was very good as well. I mean, there's no denying that. But somehow it's just gone downhill for England since then. So I just hope they do well. I mean, वो कहते हैं ना, वो मेरी दूसरी country है, so to speak. But yeah, let's hope it's a good tournament. And for the third time today, let's just hope Messi doesn't win it.
Moses, do you think Tite would make a good appointment for England? Because he's
Who?
already made it. Tite, the Brazilian coach, he's already made his intentions clear that he's going to step down from Brazil as Brazil coach after this World Cup. Would you think
He
he'd be a good fit for England?
he would he would be a good fit. But again, historically, foreign managers haven't done much with the English national team either in the past. But then we are looking at modern football. We're looking at a new generation of players. So yeah, maybe it will be one of those options. But then I guess Gareth Southgate is contracted till the next Euros, isn't he?
But then he's gone on to record saying that just in case, God forbid, if England don't have a good campaign, then there would be certain decisions that he will take. Now I
See,
don't know what that meant.
I believe that England should make it to the round of. I think they should make it to quarterfinals. Post that, it's anybody's game, because you will have the likes. You'll have the hard hitters, and you'll have Portugal, you'll have Argentina, you'll have Brazil, you'll have Germany, or you'll have the hard hitters there. So then it's anybody's game on their day. But quarterfinals is something I think England should make it to.
Speaking about the World Cup, Moses, any United player you are keeping tabs on, and who you expect to have to make the World Cup his own?
For obvious reasons, Cristiano Ronaldo. I
Okay.
am a Ronaldo fan. There's no hiding away from it. And I'm a Ronaldo
That's
fan because of United ke liye khelta hai. I'll be honest enough in saying I didn't follow Ronaldo's entire career since he left United till the time he came back. I really couldn't give a toss what he did at Real Madrid or at Juventus. But because he's at United, so Cristiano Ronaldo, yes. But what's interesting to me is मैं देखना चाहता हूँ how do Bruno and Ronaldo finally gel in a Portugal team, which hasn't happened at all. So that's going to be one challenge which Portugal will have to watch out for. So, any other United players? I hope Anthony has a good World Cup. We need him back, as in full of confidence. Um, Maguire is going to be his own same self. वो ग्राउंड पे आता है वो ट्रैफिक पुलिस बन जाता है ग्राउंड पे आके he's showing his arms everywhere telling the players where all to go. I mean, it's like silly, man. Play the game. Um, so, um, so yeah, I just hope Luke Shaw has a good game, good World Cup. I hope Dalot has a good World Cup. He's already having a great Premier League season. Ronaldo and Bruno are going to be my watch. Again, I mean, we are right now littered with good players who are just not, coming along well. Eriksen is somebody to watch out for with Denmark. Casemiro, I mean, is he there in the Brazil 11?
Yes, of course he is. Yes.
He is, yeah. So he's another player.
Without him, it is incomplete of Brazil. Without him,
Our entire Brazilian contingent is there in the World Cup. Anthony,
Right.
Fred, and Casemiro, all three of them.
So, I mean, our starting 11 or our starting 14 are all going to be playing in the World Cup. So let's hope they have a good World Cup. They make it to the quarters or the semis, or one of them, like a Cristiano Ronaldo wins it for the fourth time tonight. I hope Messi doesn't.
I think at this point, there have been a lot of, like you said, Mojo sir, that you're looking forward to the Ronaldo Bruno link up, and you said that it hasn't worked for some reason or another. How big of a reason is Fernando Santos behind that?
Well, you could put your finger onto that and say yes, partly. But then, if you have creative playmakers who like to play further up the pitch, then of course somebody's game is going to get compromised. And with Ronaldo being the central focus for United and or for Portugal, then you need to put down your, you not put down, but rather take a step or two back and realize, especially for the World Cup, this is the biggest stage you're playing at. So the aspirations that you might have, that I want to prove a point, or I need to be up there and scoring goals, you need to take a step back and start gelling as a team. So partly I agree with you, but then partly for the players, it is now about time, because let's be honest, Ronaldo is not going to be there for the next World Cup. And for a lot of these players, this is the last dance, so to speak. I mean, even Bruno might make it to the next World Cup. He's what, 28, 29 now?
28, yes. He's 28.
28. So he's going to be 32 by the time the next World Cup comes along. So he might not be there either. So these guys need to buckle down their hatches and play as a team now, rather than, try and prove that they can play higher up the pitch and be the goal scorer and the creator and whatnot. So just calm down, play the team, and win.
All right.
Portugal can only. I want to add to Mojo sir. Portugal can only win the World Cup if they show the character. जो 2016 में जो उन्होंने कैरेक्टर शो किया था कि भाई हम कर सकते हैं, अंडररेटेड एवरीवन, जो हमने अब पोर्टो का भी देखा है कि जो जैसे उसने चैंपियंस लीग जीता है, द सेम फॉर पोर्चुगल. अगर वो कैरेक्टर दिखाए और अपना ईगोस बाजू में रखे, तो डेफिनेटली you can win.
I think Argentina wale jitne players hai na, they've been very vocal and very public about their wanting to play well and do well and win it for Messi this time.
Messi. Exactly.
Somewhere I think the same feeling is within the Portugal camp as well, and they're just keeping it under wraps. You never know what Portugal produces. So they're not going out and saying we're going to win it for Ronaldo and this is for Ronaldo, this, that, and the other. Maybe there is something behind the scenes where they're like, look, let's keep it under wraps. Let's keep it to ourselves, and let's go and just enjoy the World Cup and play.
No, Abhijit bhai, I don't think Portugal faces a ego problem.
Not exactly. Not
Okay,
exactly.
Exactly.
नहीं डेरिन भाई आप देखो,
I think the reason that Portugal are not able to take that step to the next level is they're not able to play ugly. I think if you've seen the Copa America, the entire Copa America, I think Argentina had a very dreary performance. I mean, they were not easy on the eye, but the thing is that they had 10 players along Messi who were ready to do the dirty work for him. And I think that is how settled that team is. And I'm pretty sure that even this year we are going to. I'm not expecting any aesthetically pleasing performances from Argentina this year as well. Scaloni's blueprint is very simple. He has 10 rugged people and Messi. The job for those 10 rugged people is to just go Texas Chainsaw Massacre on the opponents. And
But 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 there's a catch though, Dylan. Here, there's a catch. You could play that particular brand of football in Copa America, but while we are saying that yes, a certain level of physicality and contact has been allowed back into football over the last 2.5 years, I don't think the Copa America level of physical contact will be allowed at the World Cup stage.
no,
So
I mean,
how effective would their gameplay be if they continue playing that ways? It's how I wouldn't be surprised if they play a game with 9 men. I mean, down to
no,
nine
I'm
men.
just my way of saying is that they would want to make every game a scrap. I'm not telling it is going to be rough or physical. I
Right.
mean, Argentina's game plan, which has been going on for quite a while now, is their main intention is to make the game a scrap, and then let their mental perseverance pay off in the longer run. That is what I'm trying to get in.
Right. Right.
Because
Facing African and European teams will not be easy for Argentina. Although I believe that South American teams are different breed, I agree with that. They are really passionate about the game. They are too willing to give up their body on the pitch, whatever that is. But these African and European teams, they have some set of players that I have not witnessed in my 10 to 12 years of watching football. Like what in I saw it with Croatia when everyone was injured. They were literally on one leg. When Perisic was Mandzukic,
Mm,
they just
yeah.
fight. They just keep on fighting. And if Argentina somehow think that they are the big bullies, but you really don't want to provoke a team in the World Cup because the this World Cup includes players that are really playing on the top level, and Copa America is a different thing where there is dominance of Uruguay, Brazil, and Argentina. But in World Cup, if you try to mess with teams, it can backfire also.
I mean, if Argentina tries to mess with any of the African nations, they're going to have it. They're going to be given back to them with interest.
especially Senegal, if we
Yeah.
because Senegal is one of those sides which a lot of people are touting to make a long run. I mean, sure, the absence of Mane will hurt them big time, but they
They
still
will buy
have.
even Switzerland. If some a team like Switzerland, if they try to, the only the name is peaceful Switzerland. They have they have like one of the, I think Zaka is there, Shakiri is there.
I
Akanji.
know.
Set of
Serbia says hi.
yes,
No,
Serbia.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Is Uruguay playing the World Cup? Yeah.
Yes, and I
Yes.
actually coming to Uruguay, my
Yeah.
player who I would be looking forward is actually
Pele.
Pelestri. Actually Pelestri for me, the United player who I would see making this World Cup his own, because slowly but steadily, Uruguay have made a rather formidable squad. They have a decent makings of a side. I mean, not as stacked as Brazil or an Argentina, but they do have some quality up their ranks. Fede Valverde is all over the place, as we see. Then there is Bentancur, who does a job for them. Then
Dani
there is
Alves.
Uh,
Pelestri. Oh yes, then there
Arao
is.
was unlucky with the injury. Arao
I
was
think
unlucky with
Hmm.
it.
I think apparently there are reports saying that he's got the green light to play. So I'm not sure
He's
how
a
true that
very good
is.
defender. He's a very good defender.
Yeah.
Very good
Then there
defender.
is then there is Darwin Nunez. I mean, for all the fact that he's playing for Liverpool, there's still some part of me that wish that he would be playing for us, because for
Everyone
me,
has six pack of abs in Uruguay. Everyone has six pack of.
no, I wish
Yes.
that he was. I wish that he was a United player, but now he is a Liverpool player, so not much can be done. But yeah, he is another dangerous player. I mean, Uruguay is someone that come into their own. Once again, another of those teams who come in their own in FIFA competition. So there's another team that you can look forward to. So this time there is a lot of case of South American teams being well settled, and the traditional European powerhouses being in a state of flux or transition, whatever you may call that. So it'll be a rather interesting World Cup. And obviously, when the World Cup starts, we will be talking about a lot of it in detail. So with all this, we've come to the end of our episode today. We've spoken a lot. We've spoken a lot about different topics. We spoke about our club, how we're going to manage the game. We all are hoping for a win, and we hope that we get a good evening for once against Emery. In the past couple of years, those have been hard to come by, but hopefully tomorrow is the day. And apart from that, we've already had the World Cup discussion. So yeah, do show us love, guys. Do like, share, and subscribe. We keep on coming up with similar content every day, and we are always active on our social media. Do give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter as well. We are always active on our WhatsApp group, and like I say, every day is match day on our WhatsApp group, so you do not want to miss a chance to hop in on that as well. And so with this, this is Delvin signing off with Abhijit, Saksham, Mojasur, and Ojas. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to the chat for keeping it interactive and interesting. We do appreciate your time, and we do appreciate your messages as well. Thank you to all. Take care. See you all soon, and goodbye.
Take care, guys.
GG.
GG.